And so as you begin to come into this present moment, just let go of any cares or concerns, any burdens you've been carrying, and just leave them in an imaginary basket outside your door. And just begin to tune into your breath, just watching the gentle rise and fall of your chest and belly. And just be with the breath for a little bit. Sink into your mat on each exhalation. Sink a little bit more. And if the mind starts to wander, just as soon as you notice it, just acknowledge that you're thinking. Allow the thoughts to be there. Let them float by on clouds and return back to your breath. Just strengthening your concentration muscle every time you return again. So our focus for today's class is going to be going with the flow. So practicing non-attachment. So often we have expectations that we set, and then when those expectations aren't met, it bothers us, makes us unhappy, makes us uncomfortable, makes us feel maybe like we failed, things like that. So we might want to set our intention today to practice non-attachment on our mat. So not expecting our yoga poses to be a certain way. So we're going to go with the flow. So just let the body do what the body can do for today without judgment. And then off our mat, practicing non-attachment, you might bring that intention with you through the rest of the day. So not holding on to things that, don't matter. So trying to not hold on to those things, but noticing what things really do matter. So just a little thought for the day, for the rest of the day. So going with the flow. So we'll do some different yoga poses that are more of a flow type thing during some of this in our practice today. Okay, so we're going to float our arms up over our heads and just stretch out through our fingertips and down through our toes. Take a nice big cleansing breath in through your nose and out through your mouth as you relax the back body onto the mat. And just notice, before we begin, notice how your body is feeling. So do a quick scan from the fingertips down to the tips of your toes, just noticing different parts of the body and how you're feeling. Perhaps noticing your facial muscles and your shoulders, where we tend to carry tension and tightness. And then just scanning down through the body. And then we're going to stretch out through our fingertips and out through our toes. And then we'll flex our feet and squeeze our fists. So we're going to go back and forth between flexing and pointing and squeezing and stretching. A little bit of a flow. So stretch out through your fingertips and point your toes. And then flex your feet and clench your fists. Stretch out through your fingertips and point through your toes. And flex your feet and clench your fists. So just continue doing this at your own pace. Flexing and clenching and pointing and stretching. And check that your breath is still flowing. End with your fingertips, you're stretching through your fingertips and stretching down through your toes. So just stretching, feel a nice full body stretch. And then release any tension that you have and feel the back body, the back of your arms, the back of your head, the back of your shoulders, your spine, your bottom, backs of your legs. Just feel them heavy on the mat and supported. And then we'll walk our heels over to the left and lift our head and shoulders and bring them over towards the left. And you can stay just like this, feeling a nice stretch down the right side body, or you can cross your right ankle on top of your left and take your right wrist with your left hand and just bring it further to the left, just to go for a deeper stretch if that's what your body feels today. And just breathe into that nice space that you've opened up on your right side body. So take a nice big deep inhalation through your nose, filling up your lungs with nice fresh oxygen, and then exhaling any stale air out. And do that one more time. Inhale, nice fresh oxygen. And then exhale. And then walk the heels back to center. Bring your head and shoulders back to center. And then walk your heels over towards the right. Lift your head and shoulders and bring them over towards the right. And then if you cross your ankle, do so on this side. So take that left ankle on top of the right. And then take the left wrist with your right hand and just gently pull towards the right side, opening up the left side. And take a nice big cleansing breath in through your nose to that place, that nice big space that we've made on the left side body. And then exhale out, relaxing your shoulders and your facial muscles when you exhale. And then inhale again, nice big cleansing breath full of fresh oxygen. And then exhale. And then we'll bring the head and shoulders back to the center. Uncross the ankles, bring them back to center. Float the arms down by your side. And then bend the knees, and we'll just windshield wiper the knees from side to side, using your breath. So when you drop the knees to the side, exhale. And when you bring the knees up towards so that the kneecaps are pointing to the sky, inhale. So exhale as you drop, inhale to center. So just rocking your knees back and forth. And just check in with your facial muscles and your shoulders and notice if you're holding any tension, and just release and relax. Just going with the flow here. And the next time your knees come to center, we'll walk our heels in close to our bottom, grazing our fingertips against our heels.
And we'll press into the mat with the soles of our feet and the backs of the tops of our arms. And we'll lift our hips up towards the sky as we float our arms up overhead, resting our knuckles on the mat. And then exhale, sweep the arms back down by your sides as you drop your hips down to the mat. And we'll just do this flow for a little bit. So inhaling, lifting hips and arms, and then exhaling, floating arms down by our side as we drop our hips back to the mat. So inhaling, hips up, arms floating up overhead, and then exhaling, arms back down by our sides as we come back to the mat. Bring your knees into the air and your knees towards your chest and rock from side to side a little bit. And placing your hands on your kneecaps, make some small circles, 3 or 4, one way, just massaging your lower back, then 3 or 4 the other way. And then we'll place the soles of our feet on the mat for a moment, just to kind of reset. Take a nice big deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. We'll bring our feet up off the mat so that the calves are parallel to the earth. So our legs are in kind of like an L shape. The calves parallel to the floor or to the mat. And then we're going to bring our hands up so that the fingertips are pointing towards the ceiling. So left hand, right next to each other, fingers pointing towards the ceiling. Now we're going to engage our core. So bringing our belly button in and up. So engage the core, drop the right arm over your head without touching the earth. Send your left leg out long so that it's hovering over the earth. Engaging your core. Now bring your right hand back up to so it's pointing towards the ceiling, the fingertips, and your knee is up next to the other knee. And then we're going to drop the left arm up over our head as we send the right leg out long. So arm and leg both hovering over the earth. Then bend the knee and bring it back up and bring the hand back up to meet the other arm. So hopefully you get what I'm saying here. Now drop the right arm back so it's up over your head, hovering over the earth. Send your left leg out long, hovering over the earth. Bring the knee back in to meet. Bring the hand back up to meet the other hand. Drop the left arm up over your head. Send the right leg out long. So stretch through your fingertips and stretch out through your toes, engaging your core. Bring hand and knee back to meet the other hand and knee. Drop the right arm up over your head. Send the left leg out long, hovering over the earth. You can feel it in your core. Knee and hand back to meet. And stop at any time, just placing your feet on the mat. Taking a little break if you need to, but we're going to do this for, a few more times, but don't do anything that doesn't feel comfortable. I can feel it. Okay, dropping the left arm over your head, send the right leg out long. And then back. And just keep doing alternating leg and arm for a few more, if your back and your abs permit. Try to use the breath, so extend. And then I'm going to listen to my body and stop, but you can continue for a couple more if you'd like. And once you come to stillness, like once you have stopped that pose, you can just windshield wipe your knees from side to side. And I could feel that in my abs and a little bit in my back. So we'll take it easy. We're just going to go with the flow. Bring your knees into your chest. Make some small circles on the ceiling with your kneecaps. Perhaps making the circles bigger so you massage the mid back, and bigger still, the upper back. And then at any point you'd like, reverse your direction. And then as you're ready, we'll make our way up to seated. So I'm going to sit on the edge of my blanket. And we'll just sit in a nice easy pose, Sukhasana. And we'll come into a seated cat-cow. So inhaling as you gaze forward, rocking forward, and then exhaling chin to chest as you rock back. Inhale forward, gaze up. Exhale, chin to chest, rock back, round your back. And we'll just continue with this little flow. Just going with the flow, moving with ease, not attaching. Just keeping what serves us and letting go of what doesn't serve us, which might include worry, concern, things like that really don't serve a purpose except to make one feel worried and concerned. But we all do it. Coming to stillness, sitting up nice and tall, inhaling your arms up, fingertips towards the sky as you twist and exhale to the right. And then flowing, we're going to inhale to center, exhale left as we bring our hands down, gazing to the side. Inhaling to center. This time we'll see if we can twist just a little bit more, looking out over the back shoulder. Inhaling to center. Twist a little bit more on this side so that our head and neck are involved. Inhale to center, our biggest twist, but doing it with ease. And then inhaling to center, twisting to the other side. And then inhaling back to center. And we'll just drop our chin to our chest and do some nice, easy head and neck rolls. You can even close your eyes and notice how your neck is feeling. And just go as slowly as you'd like, and mindfully making note of how your head and neck feel. And then reverse your direction at some point, giving any area that needs a little extra attention, that attention. You might have one spot, like I do, that always feels a little tighter. And then bringing your head to center, perhaps dropping your right ear to your right shoulder, coming to center, dropping your left ear to your left shoulder, coming up to center, perhaps looking up at the ceiling, down at the floor on an exhale. So keeping the breath flowing. And then we'll come into some shoulder rolls. So bring your shoulders up, back and down and around. And just do what feels good for your shoulders. Just warming those muscles up. And then reversing direction. And then coming to stillness, and we'll come into some arm circles. So big circles as if you're doing the backstroke. We'll alternate. We'll do the other arm.
big mindful circles, like noticing and being mindful of the movement that you're making. We'll do each side 2 times, and then we'll reverse. So come forward as if you're swimming. Keep your breath flowing. How many times do you really make a big, big circle with your arm like this, but it feels really good? And then come to stillness and maybe do some small little shoulder circles. Whatever feels good. It's up to you. Okay, let's make our way to table now, and we'll come into a cat flow, a flowy cat. So find your way to table, and then you know flowy cat. So we'll press away from the mat and round our back, and then sit onto our heels, drop our elbows, trace the mat with our nose as we come forward on the inhale. And so just continue with your own flowy cat, going with the flow, using your breath to move with ease and enjoy the stretch when you sit back on the heels. You can feel a nice stretch down the sides of your rib cage. And then the next time you come up to table, you can come to stillness. And we're going to come into a little bit of a flow here again. We'll do a down dog, a plank, and an up dog. And if up dog isn't something you're familiar with or something that you'd like to do, you can just push back into down dog. So we'll curl our toes, send our hips up towards the sky, settle back towards our heels. So pressing the back of the calves and the back of the thighs towards the back of our mat. And then we'll come forward for a plank. And then up dog, turning onto the tops of our feet as we send our heart center forward and gaze up. Then come on to our toes, curl our toes, push back into down dog again. Flow forward into plank. Come onto the tops of our feet for up dog. Come on to curl our toes. Come to down dog. Come forward to plank. Come onto the tops of our feet for up dog. Curl our toes. Come to down dog. And then come down to our knees. Bring our big toes together and sit back as we stretch our arms forward into child, extended child. So take a couple of nice deep breaths here. Enjoy the stretch. Make any adjustments. If something is not comfortable on your body or in your body, then just move to make yourself more comfortable. And then we'll come back up to table. We're going to come into a low lunge here. So we'll bring our left foot in between our hands, walk our knee back, our right knee back. And then for the flow, like you can stay just as you are with your fingers tented on the floor, but if you'd like to do a little bit of a flow, we'll bring our hands into Anjali Mudra, to our heart center. And then into a V with our fingers spread wide. Bring our hands to Anjali Mudra. And then into a V. Relax your shoulders. Hands to Anjali Mudra. And then into a V. Anjali Mudra. Bring your hands to the floor and come onto your left heel as you straighten your left leg. So just a little runner's stretch, or stretching the back of the left leg. And then we'll gracefully as we can bring that left foot behind us and bring the right foot in between our hands. We'll do the same little flow here. So bring yourself into Anjali Mudra. And then arms into a V. Spread your fingers wide. Relax your shoulders. Anjali Mudra. Arms in a V. Hands to prayer. Arms in a V. Hands to prayer. And then bring the hands down to the mat. Come on to the right heel now. As you lean forward and get a little stretch in that right hamstring. And then we'll bring that right foot gracefully behind us. And we're going to come into Tadasana now. So make your way up in the most comfortable way that you can, maybe coming onto your toes and then coming to standing. And so you guys all know Tadasana. So do a nice Tadasana here. So rocking from side to side. So get yourself set up, feeling the earth under all four corners of each foot, lifting up through your instep, your kneecaps, your thighs, engaging your core, extending through your crown, closing your eyes, taking a couple of nice, big, deep breaths. Notice how you feel. And then we're going to practice a little balance. We did this the other day, just a little bit. So we're going to bring the weight of our body onto our right foot, and we can bring the left heel so that it rests on the right ankle, or we can bring the left foot to the calf, or you can bring the left foot to the inner thigh, or as I was saying, I bring mine to the front of my thigh, and just stand in a little tree pose here for a moment. Extend through your crown, engage your core, and without judgment. Some days are just better than others. And you can bring your arms up, the branches. You can bring your hands to Anjali Mudra. Bring your hands down. And as you're ready, bring yourself gracefully back to both feet on the floor. If you can stay longer, bravo. And then we'll do the same thing on the opposite leg. So bring the weight of the body onto the left foot. Just rest that right ankle on the left ankle, or bring it to your calf, or bring it up. More or less whatever you did on one side, you might want to try to do on this side. So you're kind of balanced. Engage your core. Stand up nice and tall. Bring your arms up if you'd like. Bring your hands to Anjali Mudra. And then release down gracefully. So we're going to come to another little flow since that's our focus here today. So we'll come to Warrior One. So we'll take the left foot, toes pointing to the short end of the mat, back foot, toes are either at a 45-degree angle or pointing a little bit towards the front of the mat. Your hips are square to the front of the mat. And just find a comfortable stance. And then inhale the arms up so the elbow creases are right near your ears. And exhale and bend the front knee. So keep that front knee right over the ankle. And your tailbone is tucked a little bit so that it's pointing towards the earth. And then we'll come into a flow by crossing our arms in front of our chest, turning our torso towards the long end of the mat for Warrior Two. Gaze out over that middle front finger. And then we'll drop the back hand to the back thigh and bend the top arm like a ballerina for Reverse Warrior. And then we'll come back to Warrior One. So step that back foot up a little bit so that the toes are more or less pointing towards the front of the mat. And inhale the arms up. Exhale and bend the front knee. So Warrior One. Cross the arms over your chest. Turn your torso towards the long end of the mat. Extend your arms. Front knee is still bent for Warrior Two. And then drop the back hand. Ballerina, the top arm overhead. Front knee is still bent. And then we'll just bring that top arm down and turn our feet parallel. And then turn the right foot so it's pointing to the short end of the mat, the back foot as well, to the short end of the mat. Square your hips to the front of your mat. Inhale your arms up as you bend the front knee on the exhale. Warrior One. And we'll flow right into Warrior Two. So cross your arms. Back foot will be parallel to the back of the mat. Warrior Two. And then Reverse Warrior. Drop the back hand to the back thigh. Ballerina arm, that top arm. As you gaze up at the inner elbow crease. Front knee is still bent. And then we're going to bring that top arm down, step the back foot so that it's facing the short end of the mat, the front of the mat. Inhale the arms up, bend the front knee for Warrior One again. Cross the arms over your chest, turn your torso, your back foot, extend your arms, Warrior Two. Check in with your shoulders, so relax your shoulders. Drop the back hand, ballerina arm, that top arm. Look at the elbow crease if your neck allows. And then I forget how many times we did it on the first side. We'll just bring our feet parallel. We'll say we did it twice on each side, maybe. Okay, and so we're going to interlace our fingers behind our back, leading with our chin and our chest as we fold forward, and our hands will come off our back. And the crown of our head pointing towards the earth.
And then slowly use the strength of your legs to come back up. And then we'll heel toe our feet so that they're hip width apart onto our hands. Inhale our arms up, gaze up at our fingertips, turn our palms away from each other as we float forward. We can have a slight bend in our knees, placing our fingertips on the mat, come down to our knees, and we'll come down to our bellies. And we're just going to come into a flowing sphinx. So very easy as we start to wind down. So frame your face with your hands, place your forehead down on the mat, bring your elbows in close to your body, press into the tops of your feet and into your pubic bone, and on an inhalation, come up to Sphinx. So you're just gazing slightly in front of your mat. You kind of pressing into the mat with your feet, and then you're exhaling down. Inhale up. So try to keep a nice long spine from the top of your head down to the tailbone. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. You can stack your forearms and rest your forehead down on your forearms. Spread your legs wide and send your toes to either corner of the mat. So left toes to the left corner, right toes to the right corner. And just take a couple of breaths here in crocodile. Feel your belly and your diaphragm pressing into the mat on the inhale. And feel it soften on the exhale. Roll gently over onto your back with your legs bent. Once you arrive on your back, just walk your heels towards your bottom, and we'll come into a flowing bridge for our final yoga pose before we come into Shavasana. So inhale the hips and arms up, knuckles resting on the earth overhead. Exhale, float the arms down and the hips down to the mat. Inhale the arms and the hips up towards the sky, arms overhead. Exhale, float the arms down. Hips come down to the earth again. And one more time, our last bridge for this practice, for this flow. Inhale the arms up and hips up. Exhale, float the arms and the hips down. Hug the knees to your chest. Rock from side to side. Make circles on the ceiling with your knee caps. Go the opposite direction. Replace your feet to the mat. Allow your knees to support one another, so just let the knees come towards the midline. Take a nice deep inhalation through your nose. Exhale through your mouth as you settle and allow your back body to completely release and relax into your mat. And thanking yourself for making time for this practice today. You've used all parts of your body and nurtured yourself in the process. And just begin to return to your breath, perhaps watching the gentle rise and fall of your chest and belly, perhaps even putting a hand on the heart center and the other hand on the belly, and just follow the breath for a little bit here. I invite you to stay just as you are. I'm going to ring my bowl. And if you'd like to bring your hands to Anjali Mudra, I invite you to do so. And may you continue to go with the flow, practicing non-attachment as you move through the rest of your day and through the rest of your week. Namaste.